Hello, welcome to the weather update. It's 9:30, March 22nd, 2023. Looking at the satellite, the MODIS satellite for the whole country. And I'm starting off here because I want to talk about that crazy storm that hit California yesterday. And you can see it's kind of just sitting over there right now. It looks like it's still sitting over the Bay Area. But if we go to yesterday, this thing actually developed an eye. And I actually put a little video up. And you can see right here. There it is, right there. There's an eye. Look, you can see that's a clearly circular structure right there, just south, making a landfall just south of San Francisco. And there are a couple of videos showing people standing at the cliffs out by the water, and it was like a hurricane out there. So very unusual to see. Here's another image of it. So you can clearly see the swirl there. That's an eye right there, which is absolutely crazy that there was an eye that developed for this storm. And you can look at it. It has almost a tropical structure to it. Take a look at that. You see the puffy white clouds around it? If you draw it right here, you'll see what I mean. It's like a donut almost, like a hurricane has. Like a donut, like this. So it's almost like a hurricane. And even when we looked at some of the old radar images, we're going to look at that. It also looked like a hurricane there too. So if we go ahead and look at Ventusky, which I have up here, we'll have to redo the radar rewind here. I'm leading with that off with this, which is usually something I know, but I want to just, because a lot of people just are not really aware of the strangeness of this, So let's go to the, we can also move this back. So we're going to move this back to yesterday. I think it was yesterday afternoon, like 1 o'clock. This is when this storm center moved on shore here. You can see there it is right there. There's the storm center right there. And if we actually do the radar rewind here, if you go to wind gusts, you can see how how strong these wind gusts were again. But if we go and we look at the radar from that period, you'll see there's definitely, look at this. I mean, that's got tropical structure to it right there. Take a look at that. That's incredible. Look at that. That's got a tropical structure to it. You can clearly see that. You're 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock. Very unusual to see. Look at that. I had to show that to you because that's just crazy. All right, that's just crazy. So anyway, let's talk more about our weather now, right? And today we had a lot of clouds around today. Mid deck, some breaks in the sun, breaks of sun, but other than that, fairly cloudy day today. Sky sort of looked like this pretty much most of the day. Mid-level deck, a little high clouds above it. And then you can see some more, again, you can see the mid-level deck right here, and then the high clouds above that. Another look at the sky there. Interesting looking, nonetheless. It made for an interesting sunset. Here's some of the clouds at sunset here. And you can see pretty. We got a little bit of sun shining through there for the sunset. And then this evening, the sky has a very almost like warm weather look to it. If you look at the sky here, you'll see very just a kind of a warm air look to it. You can see here, just look at that, the layers there, the altocumulus, and then we have some of these low, almost fractocumulus clouds coming in, and that is a sign that we are seeing the moisture levels increase in the atmosphere. So let's take a look and see what we got going on in our area. Obviously, across the country, we've got flood watches. Looks like flood watches in effect for Oklahoma into Missouri, into Illinois, into Kentucky for rain that's going on there. Then we have winter storm weather around the Rockies, and then California. It looks like we have some frost advisories. Nothing too crazy in California. Looks like it's calmed down a little bit. But let's take a look at our area now and look at the temperatures that we have out there. So across the area, you can see temperatures are much milder tonight with that warm air advection. Still around 50 for most areas. New Jersey's a little warmer in the mid-50s there, 52, 53. But you'll see how the moisture levels in the atmosphere have changed. You'll notice the dew point is up to 45 at islip. So let's go and look at that. So you can see here, you're pretty much overcast most of the day. Look, there were a couple of breaks there, but you can see the moisture levels increasing in the atmosphere tonight for sure. And that's, you can really feel it. It seems like late. Well, especially when I got back to Mineola, of course, it's warmer here, so you're going to feel it more here. But generally around 50, except probably 55 in the alley, probably, or warmer than that. You can see the wind gusts are picking up too. We're starting to see that warm air advection. So let's take a look at the highs for the day. And let's see what we got up to today. It was probably pretty mild today. Let's see what we got up to. And that's, of course, if it'll load. If it wants to play this game again, I don't know, man. Here we go. So mid-50s on Long Island, 55 at Islip. Look at that. Mid-60s in New Jersey. Much warmer in New Jersey. Much warmer in New Jersey. Of course, it leaves out the city for some reason. If I go this in here, it should show up. You have 59 at LaGuardia. 64 at, let's see if Central Park hit 61. So above normal for the day, again, as you can see here. Let's go to the low temperatures. I don't think there was any radiational cooling last night. But we will take a look and see if there was any. I doubt there is. So 24 at West Hampton. All right, there's still some. Got down to 34 at Islip and 31 and actually 28 around Warren Grove. So, yeah, some areas in New Jersey got some radiational cooling. Definitely not as chilly as it was on Monday morning. That's for sure. So let's go and look at the radar across the country. You'll see here it says deadly California storm blast state. So this is the storm that I was talking about at the beginning of this video. They're calling it a bomb cyclone. Barrels into California with tree-toppling winds and record rain. The deadly storm blasted California with wind gusts over 100 miles an hour and an eye resembling a hurricane's. And yeah, so there you go. I'm not the only one who noticed this. Again, just look at this. You can see, look at the radar loop of the air. So here's a radar loop. Look at the eye right there. There it is. Tropical storm force wind gusts 39 to 73 mile an hour reported for 7 consecutive hours in Oakland. So there you go. Similar type of, and here are some of the wind gusts here yesterday. Oh my gosh. Hopper 118. I mean, this is nuts. This is nuts. And an EF0 tornado touched down in Carpinteria, 90 miles northwest of L.A. on Tuesday, with estimated winds of up to 75 miles an hour. I mean, this is crazy. I mean, this is just a sign of what we're dealing with now, So let's go to the radar here across the country, and we'll show you the radar here. So not much going on right now. You can see there was a couple of, it probably wasn't even reaching the ground this afternoon, but you could see here, that's why you saw some of those dark clouds, but it wasn't reaching the ground. There are some showers in Ohio. Some of these could be thunderstorms, and then let's pan this out a little more. So you can see the snow around Wyoming, Cheyenne, into Nebraska, and so here we go. And you see the showers in California, so you can clearly see the showers going on in California right now. And there is another storm on the horizon for them as well. So we'll take a look at the CONUS view for now. So we'll go ahead and look at this. Let's go to the CONUS view. This is the East CONUS. So this is the East CONUS you can see here, and you can see what we have here. This is going to be what we're going to be dealing with for this week here, the stall front syndrome. And we'll go to the CONUS West now, and we'll look at the lightning intensity, because you can see there's another storm looming. If you look over way under you're probably not going to be able to see it. We'd have to pan it a little more. Let's change this to the Pacific. Let's see, Pacific, maybe U.S. Pacific coast. I don't know. We actually need the entire Pacific here. Yeah, we can do Hawaii. Yeah, here we go. That's way too close. Let's try Northern Pacific. Yeah, it would be this storm. I think this is the next one right here that you see that's ready to come in. So it's going to be a little while before that one comes in. So I'm not going to spend too much time on it. So let's go look at the models now, and we will look and see what we've got coming our way. Unfortunately, unsettled weather. But we could use some rain, because there were some brush fires, including some in New Jersey today. one that disrupted the New Jersey Transit Northeast corridor. So it is very dry out there. I know in the Pine Barrens, I noted how dry it was. So we could actually use some rain. So let's go and start with the upper air, the jet streams, and the upper air, and let's go here, 250 MB wind. So we're starting off with the GFS, and you'll see here that, well, we're going to probably just keep using the GFS, because you can see that moisture feed that we're going to be dealing with. So a little bit of a unsettled pattern for the next 3 days or so. There's your storm there come through, and just a very flat, no cool air behind that storm that we're going to be getting on Saturday. You can see that just west to east flow. You'll notice a little less of you're noticing a split jet stream pattern evolving here. All right, there's a little trough in the east, the middle of next week there. Generally speaking, I mean, winter is pretty much over, and this jet stream is starting to look very disorganized as we get toward the end of this period here. Look at this extremely disorganized jet stream. Not a surprise, considering the, again, the jet stream, as I explained to you, is fueled by the difference between the poles and the equator. When the poles are warmer than they're supposed to be, there's less, the jet stream gets wavier and gets into these wild patterns, which is what we're seeing. That's a big factor in contributing to our changing climate. So let's look at the European view of the jet stream here. And if I see any differences, not really. All right, there's the trough for Wednesday there. It's not really any difference between it and the GFS as far as I'm concerned. So I'm just going to stick with the GFS here. All right, let's go to the upper air, 500. All right, so you'll see here, here's the trough out west, ridge in the east. And you see that's going to continue here. Another trough another storm for the west. You can see it's just a very small. That whole idea of a cold air blast coming for this week doesn't look like it's going to be happening, unfortunately. The GFS took it back, not surprisingly, because it's just a carrot in the stick, and you see pretty much looking like it's going to be at or above normal for the rest of this month, unfortunately. So March is probably going to wind up being above normal yet again. I would think it will be. So let's go look at the surface now and explain to you what's going to be happening. So here is what we have for tomorrow. Is chance of showers. Won't be raining all the time. Chance of showers tomorrow. We have a cold front that comes through. It's going to stall just to the south of us. So could be shower chances in New Jersey south of like 195, but just cloudy probably and dry for Friday. And then we'll see more rain on Saturday likely with this low pressure system that's going to shoot up into the Great Lakes, of course, like they've always been doing all year. And then fair weather returns for Sunday, although it won't be with that flow from the west. It's going to still be above normal. And then you'll see here high pressure, weak high pressure keeps us dry. And then another storm system here. It looks like a coastal storm would develop. And this will have to be watched. It's showing something perhaps developing probably offshore. But you'll see it's too warm for snow. We'll have to watch the possibility of that coastal storm because there is that trough that could wind up, and then behind that, we'll have a high pressure build in, though probably not that cool of an air mass, but, probably near normal. And then another low goes into the lakes, and another high tries to build out. And then we have some weird stuff going on toward the end of the period there, again, with that jet stream kind of just falling apart. If you look at the west here, you'll see when does the next storm system come into the west here? It would probably not be until next week that we'd have to worry about the next storm system coming into the west. So let's look at our temperature anomaly chart here, and you'll see we are going to be well above normal tomorrow for most areas here. The only thing and I think there's going to be more of a west wind tomorrow, so tomorrow could wind up being warmer than today, despite the overcast skies and showers. And then we really go above normal. It's warm, kind of humid air mass tomorrow night, and you can already feel that humidity increasing tomorrow night. And then Friday, that front comes through, stalls to the south, so probably near normal to above normal that day. And Saturday, you can see there's going to be an easterly flow with that backdoor front that cold front is just going to say stall to the south. So we're going to be below normal probably for Saturday. And you can see in the mid-Atlantic, it's blazing. You can see, again, west is below normal again, like we've been doing all year, all season. The troughs in the west. Here we are Sunday above normal. We go down to near normal on Monday. Here comes some colder air trying to come into the picture, and then you can see though it just doesn't really make. We are a little bit below normal for a couple of days next week. It looks like, and then you can see that cold air just doesn't want to go. It doesn't want to get here. Maybe toward the end of the period, maybe we'll get some of it. But again, the GFS has always been showing this, and this is the problem. The GFS is trying to bring it down, but it just never seems to happen. We can look at the European. I don't think it's going to be any different. Honestly, I don't see it being any different. This is the European. European's a little more aggressive with the cold in the middle of next week, though, I notice. So it does seem to want to be a lot more aggressive with the cold. So there are some differences with this because, again, if we look at the 500 MB, you'll notice there's a much deeper trough here. That storm for Wednesday, the Euro, is much more intense with it. And this, actually, let's go and look at that for a moment. You can see it actually brings the storm right over us, and is much deeper. So we'll have to. This is like a week away. So there's so much that can change between now and then. So let's go to the short range models now, and let's look at the. Let's do HRRR. I think we'll have enough of that in. Well, not really. We'll start with the NAM3 first. All right. This is the NAM3. All right. So we're going to look at the NAM3 first. And you'll see, again, just a very small chance of showers for the first part of the day. Maybe a more substantial in the early afternoon. Maybe a couple of showers come through. Then there's a break, and then they have this cold front that comes through. It could bring a few more showers, like toward midnight. And you can see the front kind of gets hung up to the south, just to the south. Rain chances perhaps over New Jersey. And then as we head into Saturday, you can see this is the storm system here setting up. This is like a warm front that's going to probably get stalled out to the south, and this is the cold front with that. All right, so this is what it's showing on the NAM. Let's go to the HRRR next. We have 40 hours of the HRRR, so let's say the HRRR. You can see similar idea that noon, early afternoon, you're going to have to deal with some rain. Then there's a break, and then the HRRR is a little different and brings some more shower chances more toward 8 o'clock. So the timing of the cold front is a little different on the HRRR, but it does get hung up to the south. But with the rain kind of just south of our area on Friday. Let's look at our dew points and wind flow, because this is what I mean when I say the moisture levels are increasing, and you'll see those the moisture levels increase tomorrow. This is the HRRR here. Nothing too crazy until we get toward into the afternoon, because this is sort of like a warm front that's sort of coming through, and that's. We could see a spike in temperatures actually toward later in the afternoon after that rain comes through, because that's sort of like a warm front that's going to be coming through. It probably is a warm front, and that's going to shift the winds over to the southwest, and that's going to mean the temperatures are actually going to rise as we go toward evening tomorrow before the cold front comes through. And you can see these are just the dew points. It's going to be muggy and humid tomorrow night, and then you'll see those dew points drop after midnight into the 20s. 30s and 20s, so much drier air will come in, and that front gets stuck to the south. Let's go look at the temperatures, the actual air temperatures. So overnight, we're probably not going to get much below the mid to upper 40s tomorrow. If you're in Jersey, you could see 60. Long Island, probably not, probably just low to mid 50s. But you'll see that there's another burst of warmth as we get toward that afternoon time, and you see the temperatures rise into the 60s in New Jersey, mid 60s, and possibly near 60 on Long Island as well. Temperatures rise because the winds go more west-southwest. The sea breeze would only be felt on the south shore and out east. Extreme south shore. And then you'll see those temperatures drop as we get into Friday with that cold front coming through at midnight. And then by Friday morning, or Fridays, as far as I've got, you have temperatures in the upper 40s. And then you can see the heat is a little squashed to the south, well to the south, actually, south of D.C. even. All right, so this is actually pushing the front a little further south. Some of the models don't agree on this. So let's go down to the GFS. And so we'll go and look at all of them, because the GFS might just be a little different. So let's go and look at our dew points and wind flow into tomorrow here, and you'll see that surge of warmth come in. You see the winds go west-southwest, so it will be warmer around your dinner time tomorrow than it will be at around noontime. Temperatures will actually be rising. And again, this is the dew points, just showing you the tropical air that's coming in. And then the front comes through, and you see it gets stuck to the south. But Friday will be much cooler with dew points that'll be much lower. It'll be more comfortable, and then the front kind of gets stuck to the south, and then this low pressure kind of goes right. There's a low over the Great Lakes, but it almost looks like it's trying to form something right along the front too for Saturday. You'll see the warm sector stays to our south. We have an east wind, which would keep us cool. Then it pulls away, and then for Sunday, you see that westerly flow. They're coming in, but again, you see the air. The dew points aren't that low. This is Pacific air origin, and then I'll just push this into next week. You can see what happens next week, but you see no real Arctic air, and then it has another blast of warmth right there. I don't want to go any further than that on this. Let's go to the actual air temperatures, and again, you'll see that warmth happen. Look at that. There you go. Look at that warmth. It actually comes pretty close. Here we go. So you can see 18Z, which is 2 o'clock. We're in the low 50s, but look at what happens as we get toward 8 o'clock. Your temperature's actually going to be rising to near 60s, so it will actually be warmer. And then as we go into tomorrow, into Friday, I meant, you'll see the temperatures drop. Friday will be cooler, mid-40s. Notice it's a little warmer to the north. That could be where some sun could come out, perhaps. And then as we get into Saturday, you'll see it's going to be a nasty, cold, rainy day with possibly some drizzle around with this. Again, you can see where that look at the warm air front is kind of sitting. Look at this. And this is typical of what happens with warm fronts. It'll kind of just sit here like this. We've got that cold air that's pushed in here, and that's damming in. So you got that northeast east wind, that cold air that will be kind of wedged in there for your Saturday. And then as the storm moves away, ironically, the temperatures will be much warmer. Behind it, we'll probably get well into the mid-50s, perhaps even near 60 on Sunday. And as we get in the next week, you'll see again that there might be a cool down. We'll have to watch to see if there's that cool down again. This is again the GFS, which has a kind of cool around Wednesday with that storm passing by that we're talking about. But then it just bounces right back again. And then look at how warm it could get on Friday, the last day of the month. Could be quite warm. And look at that. Yeah, after that, it could be dealing with 70s. I hope that's wrong. That is way too hot. I do not want to deal with that. So now the European is a different idea again. So I want to show the European again. I can only hope that the European is right when it comes to next week because it's much colder. You can see that it's much colder, and it doesn't bring any of that heat in at all. It keeps it south. So I'm really hoping the European is right. So we do have a difference in the long range between the Euro and the GFS. And you can only hope that the European is right because we don't want to be dealing with temperatures in the 70s. At the end of the month, it's almost record breaking. The heat that the GFS is advertising. And again, it's Saturday that's going to be the day that we're going to be dealing with the rain. So we're going to show you this map again. So here you go. This is to say we're going to have rain. It could be periods of rain, type of just nasty rainy day, unfortunately, for Saturday. Like I said, it's still out of range of most of the short-range models, so we can't really see what's going to happen on Saturday. Let me pull up the NAM. Yeah, I don't know if the NAM has it. Let's see. I don't think the NAM 18Z goes far enough. All right, it sort of does, but you can see how it's raining. It's going to be raining most of the day, and you can also see those isobars get tight, so that could be some wind in there too. So, yeah, Saturday is going to be a crappy rainy day for sure. So that's the next rainy day that we have. And if we look at the total accumulated precip on the NAM, as far as the amount of rain we get, still it's only around a half an inch. So it's not going to be, I'm not going to call it a soaker, but it'll just be a rainy day. It's not going to be raining, like soaking heavy rain, but it'll be a nasty day on Saturday. So, obviously, I'll bring up the skies, but I don't think you're going to see much sun. So let's go ahead and look at the RHM, and I think that's the only model I'm going to use here at this point. You'll see here's Thursday, plenty of clouds, though. Again, the sun could break out, perhaps behind that warm front, 4 or 5 o'clock after, and it could heat up. And then here's your Friday, and you can see it almost tries to clear it out a little bit, but we'll be on we're going to have plenty of clouds around, I think, mid-level, maybe up below 2. Pretty overcast day, but at least it won't be raining. And then Saturday, obviously, we're going to have to deal with all those clouds. And then if we want to look beyond that, GFS shows that things should clear out by Sunday. All right, so it's going to be very mild. And then next week, you'll have some sunny weather next week, too. Behind that storm, perhaps. Though, again, this far out, I don't like using the GFS. So don't like using it that far out with the sky cover. So let's get close to wrapping this weather update up. I'll go to the Climate Prediction Center here and Weather Prediction Center as well. So again, just showing you what you already know here. This mess is coming our way here. And then if we go to the Storm Prediction Center, marginal risk for severe weather. I don't think anything's too crazy here. We'll go ahead and we'll look at the severe weather outlooks here. Tomorrow, it looks like slight risk for Texas, and we'll go all the way to day 3. And it looks like it will, with that warm air coming in place, we will start seeing severe weather in the south again. It seems like Dixie Alley is becoming more of a prominent area for severe weather now than the traditional tornado alley, and that's all because of, again, the changing climate that we're going through. Speaking of climate, let's look at the Climate Prediction Center and do our 6 to 10 day. And you'll see it does have us below normal, believe it or not, on the 6 to 10 day and on the 8 to 14 day, whether I believe that. So they're obviously going with the European model. I hope the European model is right. That's all I can say, because the GFS is much, much warmer in the long range. Last, let's go to the state of the ice, and that's going to wrap it up after I finish this here. Arctic sea ice. Let's see what we got here. Arctic sea ice. This was as of March 15th. Fifth lowest on satellite record. So obviously we have pretty low sea ice. You can see here, and that could set the stage for it. And this is the line right here. Look at how low we are here. Just incredible to see this. And this is all less sea ice means warmer Arctic, which messes up the jet stream. So it's only going to get worse from here. So I don't have any good news for you on that. So that's going to wrap up this weather update. There is no good news because, unfortunately, humanity does not take this seriously, especially in this country. So that's going to wrap up this weather update. Have a good night.